planning a vacation in Hawaii? A warning tourists need to know before coming here at this time. David Lenhart, Pulitzer Prize-winning New York Times journalist, reported COVID-19 transmission rates in the U.S. are rising in some places. Other places are effectively reopening while reducing virus cases. He asked, how could this be? Public health experts gave two main reasons. One, the virus spreads less easily outdoors than indoors. Summer and being outside seems to help. Two, people want to keep themselves safe. Many people are taking more precautions than they did in February and March. They are wearing masks, remaining 6 feet apart. Mitigation practices are making a difference. One crucial caveat, the virus will outlast the summer everywhere. During the 1918 to 1919 flu pandemic, transmission rates fell in warmer months only to soar again in the fall. People thought it was over and stopped taking precautions. Hawaii has the lowest COVID-19 mortality rate in the U.S. Hawaii's extraordinary success in curbing local spread of COVID-19, a combination of geography, a cooperative public, and quarantine on travelers to the state, effectively squashed the curve. Hawaii has one of the lowest per capita infection rates in the nation, due in large part to Hawaii's leaders and sacrifice and hardship of Hawaii's people. Hawaii Governor David Ige on March 26 instituted a 14-day mandatory self-quarantine for all arriving trans-Pacific travelers. During quarantine, visitors are not allowed to leave their accommodations for any reason other than medical care and not allowed to have visitors. They are not allowed to leave even for food or groceries, which they must arrange to have delivered. Violators face penalties of up to a $5,000 fine and up to a year in jail. The Visitor Aloha Society of Hawaii, VASH, sends travelers back to where they came from if they do not have resources for a mandatory 14-day self-quarantine. Jessica Lonnie Rich, VASH president and CEO, said most people referred to VASH knew about the quarantine but did not plan to honor it, felt they could get around it, or lied about having a place to stay. Star Advertiser columnist Lee Cataluna said, what's really getting Hawaii residents angry right now is tourists blatantly disregarding rules Hawaii has dutifully followed. Special agents of the State Attorney General's office arrested Dan Vlasenko, 19, from Washington State, and Artion Juriada, 20, from Oregon, for violating quarantine. They broke quarantine immediately on arriving in Honolulu, traveling to various locations around the city. Juriada is also charged with cruelty to animals after shooting a feral chicken with a spear gun. Former TV News reporter Angela Keene and Hawaii quarantine kapu breakers are behind some of the high-profile arrests for violations of the state's quarantine. The 2,500 volunteer members of Hawaii quarantine kapu breakers include attorneys, executives, airline staff, and hospitality workers. They are Hawaii residents concerned about keeping Hawaii safe. Keene said, we've managed to have the lowest rates for a reason, and we want to keep it that way. We want to be pono, and we want to protect our community. They do not take matters into their own hands, but instead notify authorities. They received multiple tips on a group known as Carbon Nation that arrived recently on Hawaii Island. The group of 21 people were charged with violating quarantine. VASH arranged for them to return to Los Angeles, but they refused and intend to move here permanently. They are a religious cult practicing polygamy, nudity, and not bathing. They were previously kicked out of Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and Panama. Their cult leader is Eligio Bishop, who refers to himself as God and Nature Boy. He allegedly requires members to surrender all their money, credit cards, bank accounts, and PIN numbers. Special agents of the State Attorney General arrested Boris Liwuski, 20, and Yulia Andreychenko, 26, of Citrus Heights, California. A Waikiki hotel reported they repeatedly violated the self-quarantine order. John Ryan Adams from Seattle, Washington, was picked up by police after he skipped out on quarantine. He was taken to the airport and sent home. Kimberly Kim Tien, 34, from Las Vegas, and Edward Tun, 33, from Sydney, Australia, were reported to police by a hotel manager alerted by an irate citizen. Special agents from the State Attorney General's office obtained records that showed the pair repeatedly left their hotel room. After they were released from police custody, they checked out of the hotel and into another hotel and continued to violate quarantine. After hotel staff caught them again, they checked out and eluded law enforcement. A manhunt was launched and they were caught at the airport. They were defiant and belligerent. Arona Browning Lopez, 37, a homeless woman, was sent back to Los Angeles after violating quarantine. She was in Waimanalo, angering residents worried she might be infected with COVID-19. Many Windward residents were tracking her on social media and urging police to arrest her. Waimanalo Neighborhood Board member Kukana Cam Toth said, "I think it was selfish and irresponsible of her. She traveled all over the place, which puts the lives of our community members at risk." Bobby Edwards of Boynton Beach, Florida, was arrested after he landed on Kauai without accommodations. He was belligerent toward airport personnel and arresting officers. Dwight Anthony Tucker of Tampa, Florida, was arrested in Hanalei on Kauai for violating the quarantine order. Devin Martin of Olympia, Washington, was arrested by Kauai police for violating quarantine. Kauai Mayor Derek Kawakami said they came from states with high numbers of people ill from the virus. They came to Hawaii, where everybody is sacrificing to keep our numbers down.